Hey friends, welcome to the channel. So after a long time I'm making another content related to Bootstrap, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how you can make Bootstrap cards using grid layout. So these are some notes I have already placed for this lesson, and throughout the tutorial we'll learn what these things are actually. Okay, so let's start writing our HTML. So for those who already know what Bootstrap is or don't know what Bootstrap is basically a framework that is has been created to help designers to design the web page or to style the web page. And because we designers really get a lot of trouble using the vanilla CSS, so Bootstrap has this huge class components that we can use to style the web page. Okay, so enough of that introduction, let's start writing the Bootstrap. Okay, so the first I have this HTML and the heading tag. Let's add a meta of viewport, so I'll use the emit meta viewport. What the hell is that? What happened? Let's see, meta vp. Okay, this is something you actually need to add in your heading tag to make the web page responsive. Remember, we are creating cards that should be responsive, so I'll add here Bootstrap responsive cards. Okay. The next thing I will need is obviously a title here first. Let's add a title. Let's say Bootstrap class cars actually, and after that I can save the web page and go to the Bootstrap website to get the CDN link. So I'll just copy this link here, and let's go back to the editor. I can add the link here, and now let's add a body here first, and then we'll add a h1 with text of hello world to see if the Bootstrap has been connected to our web page. Let's open up our live server. So our live server has been turned on, and now we can see our web page, and we can see hello world here. And if you see your text formatting like this, that means that Bootstrap is connected to your web page. Now let's go back to the editor. I'm going to close this out. So what I'm going to do here is that I can either add a background color to my body, or let's just leave it like that. We can add a section here, and for imagination, think the page representing instructors of educational website, something like that. Okay, so let me add another comment here. Section of instructors, and sorry about that. Yeah, section of instructors. Okay, now I can add a color to the section, so let's add a class of bg-primary with Bootstrap padding of 5, and then we can add a container class here, and inside the container I can add a heading. So let's see, let me add a heading like our instructors. Okay, let me save this, and let's open up the web page first. Yeah, that's right there. But since the background is in this bluish color, I want to change the text to white, so I'm going to add a class to my h2 tag of text dash actually hyphen white. And then I can also add text center, so I can see the text on the center of the container. Let's also add a paragraph here with class of text dash center and text dash white. Okay. Alright, let's add here our instructors have 5+ years of experience in EdTech. Okay, just leave it like that. I also want to add a margin bottom of 5, so let me save that. Let's see our web page. Yeah, looking pretty good, right? Let's go back to the editor, and now it's time to use the Bootstrap Grid layout system in order to lay out our cards. So this is the process you have to follow in order to add cards to any section. So first it should have a container class, then it should, under that container class you will add another div with a class of row, and inside that row div you will add divs that have column classes. Okay, so let's add here a row div first, and after that we'll add the column classes. So I'll add here a column first, and inside this column we can start working on our card class. So Bootstrap has already this card class component. I'm going to add a dot and add card here, and I can give this card a background of BG light. Then I can also add another div that has a class of card body and text center. So card body will be the container where you will add a card title and card text. Okay, so let's add a h3, and then we'll add the card title class. Okay, card title, and let's add title like Jason Doe, something like that. And I can also give this title to margin bottom of -3, and after that I can add a paragraph with card text class, and I can add lorem text of 15. Oops. Yeah. So let me see this first. Save that. Let's go here. Okay, so we can see that Jason Doe, and we can see the text here. So right now this is not looking like a card, and the reason why this is not looking like a card is because we are using this column class. Okay, so by default this will take the entire space of the container. What we can do here is, if we add this col -lg -3. So what this LG means is that in large screens that are above 768 pixels, okay, above 768 pixels, this div will have a space of 3 columns. Okay, so this is what Bootstrap Grid is. They basically calculates on 12 columns. Okay, So imagine that you have 3 columns in a row div. Okay, 3 columns in a row div. What you will do is that you will try to divide 12 columns by 3, and you will get 4 out of it. Okay, so if 3 divide 12 columns, then you will receive 4 columns, which means that your divs can have a space of, let's say, col lg-4, and that's how the calculation works. If your row div has 4 column classes inside, or the 4 divs inside of a row, then you can calculate that, let's say 4 divided by 12 columns, that will return to 3 columns. So because I'm going to add 4 columns to my row class, so I will need to have column dash lg of 3 in large screen. So this lg is representing that it should be 768 pixel above viewport. Okay, and I can also add another class called col dash md dash 6, which means that in mid screen size, where it is actually 768 pixel, which means that the screen size should be minimum 760, or it should be under 768 pixel, that then this column will have a space of 6 column. Okay, this div will have a 6 column space in mid screen size, and when it reaches to the large screen size, then it will have 3 column. Now I know this sounds a little bit confusing, but let me make this clear to you. So first I'm going to just delete this thing and then this thing. I'm just going to keep this col-md6 first, and then I will show you what I mean everything. Okay, so let me save this, and if I open up this, you can see that it reaches to this space, right? Okay, so it reaches to the half of our container. If I add another card, let's say I copy this section, actually I need to copy from here. Okay, so if I copy this, alt shift alt, okay, if I copy this and if I open up my browser, you can see that there are currently 2 cards here. Okay, but we want to add like 4 cards in our container, and so in order to do that, we will add that lg class in our column. So col dash lg and 3. So we want this div to have 3 column space, okay, in larger screen size. I'm just going to copy this section, and then I'm going to paste it out here. Let me save that. And now if we open up this, you can see that there are 2 cards. Then we can also go ahead and copy this cards. We can add comments here. Let's say box 1, just for reference, then box 2, after that we can add another comment here, box 3, let's copy this, paste here, and finally box 4th. Okay, let me save this all. Let's go here, and we can see that there are total 4 cars in our container, which looking really great, but not that much because these cars have the same title. So we are going to change everything here. So let's first start with the second box. Okay, so instead of JSON doe, this will be Jane Doe. instead of Jason Doe here, we'll add, like, say, Steve Smith. And then we can add another woman name here, let's say Sarah Smith. Okay. Now let me save this here. Let's open up the browser and we can see that these names have been changed, which is pretty awesome, but this is not a full card because there are no images. So we need to add a few images to our cards. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to add an image tag here, and I'm going to use an API to add images to my image tag, and you can just basically copy this or you can use your own images, doesn't matter. So the link I'm going to use is the API I'm going to use is https://random user.me/API/portrait/men/11.jpg. Okay, let me save that here and let's run this. So why it's not working? Let me see. Okay, so what's the problem here? We have https random user.me-api, and then this should be portraits, actually portraits men11jpg. And let me save this here and let's open up this. So you can see the image here. To add some roundness to this image, we can add a class here, class of rounded dash circle, and you can also add a little bit border here. So border primary with border of dash actually -4. So let me open up this. Yeah, you can see that here. Or doesn't matter. So I'm just going to copy this in every of my profile. So this should be the profile too. I'm going to add above the h3 tag, and here instead of men I'm going to use women. So let me save that here, and if I open up here you can see Jane Doe. So I kind of don't like this primary border. Okay, so what I can do here is I can just go ahead and change this from border primary to secondary. That should give us some grayish color actually. Yeah, let me save that. Oops. Okay, so now it looks very fine and natural, and then we can add the rest this image to rest of the boxes. This should be men. Let's add here 12 JPG, and this should be a woman of 12 JPG. Let's save that. Okay, so now it looks really nice. And now what we can do, we can add some social icons to this profile card so it will really look nice. So what we can do here is that this is a Bootstrap icon site, and I'll just put a link of this site in the description. What we can do here is that we can copy this Bootstrap icon CDM link. So let me just copy this first. So you can either go ahead and use the font awesome icons, but for simplicity's sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to use the Bootstrap icons. And underneath my Bootstrap CSS link, I'm going to paste this icon here. Okay. Now we need to add the icons, so we can start off with our box one. So let's start from here. We'll give it an anchor tag, and we'll add an I tag underneath the anchor tag with a class of BI, which stands for Bootstrap Icons. Then since I want a Twitter icon first, I can add here, let's say BI dash Twitter. Actually, this should be Twitter. And I also want to have this text a little bit of darkish color, so text dark with mx of 1, which means that it will have a margin from left and right side. And so if I save this, in my box one you will see a Twitter icon here. I can go ahead and make 3 more copies of this, and then I can just change this from Twitter to, let's say, Facebook, and from Twitter to LinkedIn, and from Twitter to Instagram. Okay. Instagram. This should be actually Insta. Let me save that, and I can see for social links in the beneath of this card. I can also add this social links to the other cards. So let me copy this stuff here. Let's go to our other cards, and let's just paste this things. Let me save it here, and we can see for social icons in our 4 profile cards. Okay, so now here comes the fun part. If I open up my inspect, and you can already see the responsiveness of these cards. You can see them stacked one by one. Okay, let me open up the responsive checker. So I'm going to dock to the bottom. Okay, and now I can just decrease this window to see the responsiveness. So if I go to the mid screen, you can see that now each of the node or the card is taking up 6 column spaces. Okay, and if I go to the smaller screen size, it's going to be stacked one by one. Now I don't really like these cards to be stacking with another. So what I can do here is that in my row class, I can add a Bootstrap class called G-4, which stands for gutter, and this 4 specifies the amount of space I need. So let me save this, and now you can see that every card has been separated from one another. So in mid screen we can see 2 cards in 2 rows. In smaller screen we can see that one card is stacked top of another card, and in larger screen, if we go to the larger screen size, we can see these 4 profile cards. Okay, so yeah, basically that was it. This is how you can create cards using Bootstrap. So I really hope that you like the tutorial, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you like the video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for upcoming content. Thank you.